Hi and welcome back to my studio. In this video today I show you step by step how you can draw a beautiful Maine Coon cat with pastel pencils. This is a drawing lesson inside my membership Animal Art Club. My students can learn that there, so they have access to the full lesson. Here I show you step by step and inside, and I explain you what's most important in bringing animals to life on paper. If you also dream of drawing animals, or if you are looking for an activity and just having me time or reigniting your passion for art, I invite you to join the waitlist of Animal Art Club. You can find the link here above. The doors are closed at the moment, but we welcome new members soon. So now let's dive into bringing a beautiful Maine Coon cat to life on paper. First, let's plot in black around the eye and fill in ivory. Blend it with a paper stamp and add a highlight with white. I add a bit blue. Now I add some little details in the eye with greens, some little dots and strokes. It's so important to bring in many details into your animal eye. Here I color then a part a bit with ochre. Bring in different colors into your eye. You can layer a lot, build up the iris in many layers with some green tones. That's the amazing thing when you work on high quality pastel paper like pastel matte paper from Clairefontaine. It allows a lot of layers, and we can build up the eye here in many layers. Little strokes with browns and ochres. I darken down the iris then, so it's always important to go in with darks and also bring in contrast. Here a bit blue, blended with a cotton swab, add whites, more highlights and details here with the white pastel pencil. And if it is too bright, darken it down with some ochres. To add contrast is really important to bring in depth into your animal portraits and make them realistic. You see here I also darken down the edges. That brings a nice 3D effect into your animal portraits when you darken down the edges. Add a lot of contrast, that increases the depth. Let's do the right eye now. Also a base layer with ivory, bringing in fine details. Here I draw the fur below the eye and around the eye with a lighter yellow underpainting. And then I add a bit ochre, so bring in different ochre tones too. There are so many different colors you can use in your animal portraits. Ochres, orange browns and so on. Here a brown ochre for bringing in darks and details. It's now building up the fur in layers. The fur rendering is really important, and work with very light pressure. Pressure is key too when you draw animals with pastels. Work with a light hand. That's really important. Patience, persistence and the keys are important, and pressure. I always repeat that in my lessons in Animal Art Club for my members. They learn by repetition. I really speak a lot about light pressure, using light pressure. Work with a light hand in my lessons, so remember that. Always work with a light hand here to achieve fine strokes. Also let the hairs cross. Don't draw line by line, let them overlap a bit. Go in over a mid-tone layer with darks and then finally with lights. Start with a mid-tone, go in with darks and draw over with lights. Here I darken down the black parts again, the black stripes with the black, bringing a bit more blacks. You see here how I plot in black for the darker fur stripes this Maine Coon has. Here a darker fur stripe below the eye and blend it with a paper stamp. Going over with blending tools, make a soft look. Don't let hard edges stay, make them soft, create soft edges. Here again, I build up the fur structure. I like a craft knife to use as a helping tool to scratch in fine details. I can recommend a craft knife, a cutter, just to bring in some fine strokes, remove a bit of the pastel pigment. That's really helpful. Let's now draw the ears, bringing in base layers and blend them softly, gently together, and add more hairs on top. Build up the clumps of fur that are growing up out of the ears with little pressure. Also fine details into the background. Here you see how I draw the nose. An underpainting with a flesh color, a lighter flesh color on top. With the dark, then add the nostrils, darken down the nostrils, really bring in good contrast to let the nose pop. And afterwards bring in with different colors skin structure in. I like to work here with little dots on a cat nose. Ivory, so use flesh color, some browns, darker ochre colors, orange browns for the skin structure on the nose. So darker pinks to darken down the area around the nose. And add some dots as structure of the cell. I also use white then for highlights, for brightening up the nose and give the nose a bit of a wet look, glossy look when you brighten up the edges and add some more lighter parts on the nose. Little dots, fine details for final highlights. Here you see I have plotted in base layer. I have drawn already a bit of fur, and now here we draw the fur of the cheek with ochre tones, different ochre tones as base layers, mid-tones, and then black on top. Here I color it a little bit with an ochre tone. You can also use transparent layers. That's the amazing thing. You can mix the pastel pigments together. Here I use a vanilla yellow for fine little strokes. This is a Stabilo Capothello pencil. And let these little fine lines cross and overlap. Let the strokes cross, and so you build up the fur step by step. First I start with a mid-tone, then with darks in, and then with highlights on top. This lesson is inside of Animal Art Club, so you find here above the link to the waitlist if you're interested in joining. We welcome new members 3 to 4 times a year. So if you join the waitlist, I inform you when we open the doors next. It's an amazing community where you can meet like-minded people that think and feel just like you, and they are very supportive and kind. We have live drawing sessions and pre-recorded lessons every month. You receive a lot of lessons. You have access to over 600 plus pre-recorded drawing tutorials in our content library, so it's really interesting and you learn a lot. It's also, we have stages in there for beginners and more advanced people, intermediate people, so you really get lessons determined for your stage, but you always have access to the entire content library passed for the over 3 years, so join the waitlist. You find the link in the description too. Here I build up the fur really, so step by step, many layers. Layering process is really the key. You have to be patient when you are drawing animals because you need time to build up the layers and to achieve the realistic look. But I must say drawing with the pastel pencils is a bit faster than with colored pencils because you can add the layers a little bit faster. You can blend them together better, in my opinion, than with colored pencils, and the colors are so brilliant and you can achieve such a high amount of details and realism with the pastel pencils. If you would like to try it out, I have also a free beginner's guide. You find them below in the links too. It's a PDF you can download with tips and tricks for the start with pastels. Yeah, here I add black lines, little black lines, darks between the lighter hairs. Always also go into the shadows again. I use here a charcoal pencil, by the way, from Faber-Castell. This is a very deep dark black pencil. I really like to use it because you can achieve a great amount of black, so a really deep black with it. It's a nice to have. Of course, you can also draw with the black pastel pencils. And then I go over here with lighter strokes again with ivory. I like to bring in then fine details finally with lighter pencils. Here we have so overlapping small thin little hairs. Draw them teeny tiny with little pressure. Again, pressure is the key. Always remember working with a very light hand, and you see how this beautiful Maine Coon cat comes to life. Also, have a good look at your reference photo all the time, that you follow with the fur in fur direction. Follow the bone structure. Also on top of the nose, you see the hairs are going in different directions. Really follow the fur growth, that it looks realistic. Here I go in with some darks again and let some lights overlap. Always correct parts, add some little details, go over and over again. It's also so fun and relaxing drawing animals, bringing animals to life on paper. It's so much fun, and really you can use drawing for calming down after a busy day, just having a bit me time, or use it if you just feel for it. If you had a bad experience, had a bad day, and you would just like sit down and drawing. And animals are so a beautiful subject to draw because, yes, you know, animals are our best friends, and they are just amazing. Here I draw the muscles and the chin area, blend white and grays together, bring in blacks and blend it. You can create so a soft underpainting by mixing colors together, and then go over with white lines, building up the fur structure, and blend it with paper stamps and a cutter. This is, by the way, the slice tool. A slice cutter, a ceramic pen cutter, also works well to scratch in some darker lines, or better to say remove pastel pigment. I also add a touch of blue. Did you see that? Always bringing different colors into your portraits, not only gray, also blue is useful. And here ochre colors and black and white, always darks and mid-tones and lights. I darken that down with a dark blue a bit. The shadow area below the nose, so the mouth. Cat mouths you don't see really, it's more a layering of fur and shadow. Let the hairs overlap the mouth area. Yes, and add a bit cold gray, bluish gray, and then finally more white. Always blend the layers between and add with a knife some stretches. You see I scratch away the white, and then I go over again with white lines. I use here the Caputhello white and also the Pit white. Wanted to show you that you can use both. I normally recommend to use the Pit pastel pencils from Faber-Castell because they are harder and you can achieve a lot of fine details with them. So our little Maine Coon cat, the beautiful Maine Coon cat, comes to life. You see here the face is nearly drawn. Add a base layer here on the right side for the clumps with yellow, ivory, brown and black, and always draw the clumps. I blend it with the finger if they are clean, or with a paper stamp. Be careful when you use the finger that you don't bring in oil or wax on the paper. Here then finally I use the paper stamp for making the clumps longer and blend a bit over them, also into the background. Creates a soft blurry underpainting, and then let's build up more details here with a flesh color, fine little hairs with a flesh color, and go over with longer hairs on the clumps here, building up step by step here the fur, either short fur below the eye, bring in blacks, darken down the blacks here on the muscles. I like to use the black on all over the place. Wherever I would like to bring in more darks, use it right away. Here below, many fine black lines. You can also do it part by part for sure, but why not using black now for the whole right area in the face, and bring in here the darks, and then go over with some lights again with the flesh color. It's so a beige red, a pinky flesh color for details. You see in that face ochre tones in all different variations, pinky flesh colors, yellows and browns. Here I color the part in the shadow a bit more with the flesh, swipe over gently and then add fine lines. It's so fun to build up the layers. Also an orange brown looks good here. Yeah, and I explain everything step by step in real time in Animal Art Club. Join the waitlist. You find the link below in the description if you're interested in joining. So you get then the full lesson and so much more lessons, over 600 plus content. We also do live drawing sessions. And now draw some details. The whiskers. I draw it here with the Capothello and a long line. Not too much pressure. Move it in a bow downwards with a very light hand. Yeah, drawing whiskers can be a bit tricky, but it is really fun. And you see how our amazing Maine Coon cat comes to life. Isn't that amazing, bringing animals to life on paper? Would you like to learn that too? I would love to help and support you on your animal art journey. Here I draw the Maine Coon cat in my studio, and it is finished. Okay, how did you like it? Are your fingers itching now to try it out by yourself? If you have any questions, pop them below in the comments, and don't forget to subscribe to my channel. I would love to help and support you on your animal art journey. And if you would like to draw in a very supportive community with like-minded people that think and feel the same like you, then join here the waitlist to Animal Art Club. And if you would like to follow me here on the channel or stay here and draw something else, watch that video. There you find another video about drawing animals with pastel pencils. And now enjoy drawing, and I hope I see you soon. Bye!